my name is Dak. Today in this video we're going to be trying to name all the United States presidents. We've got 10 minutes. Let's see how we can do. Play quiz. Alright, starting with the first one, George Washington. Followed him there was Adams, John Adams, and later his son, John Quincy Adams. After him, Thomas Jefferson. Then, Madison and Monroe. I don't know if I'm going to get these in order. So John Quincy Adams, the son, first person that you get more popularly elected, Jackson. Andrew Jackson, and his vice president, Van Buren. Great, so then we have the first one that's in orange because I believe it says he died in office. This would be Benjamin Harrison. William Harrison. William Harrison was the one that died from complications from his inaugural because he spoke too loud out in the rain and got sick. Alright, and then the 1840s, 1850s, these are the harder ones to remember in my opinion. These are some of the least known, but you got Tyler and Taylor, and then you got Polk and Pierce. And then that's how I try to remember them. Tyler, Taylor, 2 T's and 2 P's. Polk and Pierce, and then you got Fillmore in between, and then right before you get to the Civil War, you get Buchanan. Alright, so James Buchanan, there we go. Now the second most popular president, and some people's first, Abraham Lincoln. There you go, everyone knows that one. Washington and Lincoln are in a class among themselves. He died though, and after, you had Grant, who was later there, but I jumped ahead forward. Who took after Lincoln? I'll come back to that. You got Rutherford B. Hayes. He's the one that stopped Reconstruction from happening so that he could become president. Alright, and then you're going to have, again, these are the late 1800s are some of the hard ones too. You've got Garfield. He died. You got Arthur. You got the one that city Cleveland. Before Trump, he was the only one that was non-consecutive terms double president. You have after him you would have had Harding. Oh no, Harding's later. Coolidge and Wilson. Sorry, I jumped ahead to some of those later ones. Alright, 1897. This would have been McKinley followed by Roosevelt. So McKinley was chosen, and Roosevelt, to get him out of New York, they'd made him vice president, but then when McKinley died, Teddy Roosevelt took over, and then it would be Franklin Roosevelt as well. And then after him you had the big guy Taft, who got stuck in his bathtub. That may or may not happen, but he was, interestingly, the after president became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Only one in history to do that. Alright, so then we got Warren G. Harding, died in office, took over by Coolidge. Corrupt administration after Coolidge. Who did you have? That would be the vacuum guy, Hoover. Herbert Hoover. That's a 90s, that's a Home Alone 2 joke. Franklin Roosevelt took over. He died after winning his 4th term. And then you had Truman, the one who dropped the bombs in Japan. Then you would have a general next, Eisenhower took over. And then you had the young, popular Kennedy, who was assassinated and died in office, Kennedy. Here we go. Kennedy was replaced by Johnson, who was also the same last name for Lincoln, so Johnson. So Andrew Johnson and Lyndon B. Johnson, 2 Johnsons that replaced assassinated ones. Now this one's in blue. This is the only one that was ever, he was impeached, but before he resigned from office before the impeachment could go through. Richard Nixon. After Gerald Ford became president, pardoned Nixon, which led to a backlash. The Democratic Party would have Carter, peanut farmer himself, Jimmy Carter, which gave way to a Republican revolution with Reagan, who was so popular he got his Vice President Bush a term. And then you had the roaring 90s, wonderful time. Clinton was president, a very suave guy himself. George Bush followed by President Bush. You would have had another swing back on the other side to the Democratic side. President Obama, first African American or person of color elected. And then, of course, how the pendulum swings back. You saw a revolutionary response with Trump elected, Donald Trump, who had never held elected office before. And he, like Grover Cleveland, 2 non-consecutive terms. And in between them, you had Barack Obama's vice president, Joe Biden. And that's all the presidents, 100%. How many did you get? All right. We'll see you next time.